Hello and welcome to How to Continue Journaling, episode 2. Today we're going to talk about the different types of journals or diaries. And um, yes, journals and diaries are different, but they do overlap. So diaries tend to be more personal, journals tend to be more impersonal logs, but they are often used interchangeably in the English language these days, those words. Okay, different types of journals. Well, you can log, like in where you talk about what you've done today or during the week. Usually that's more of a diary, if it's personal. Then there are things like captain's logs where it's more about your job, your that's a bit more impersonal, which is a journal. Anyway, you can just log and talk about the daily events or weekly events. You can do a self-improvement type of journal where you're hashing through what you've done, how you can improve it, what you're going to do moving forward. Usually, some kind of health journal goes in this category. Um, Tim Ferriss, the author and podcaster, says that he keeps a log of everything he eats and exercises every single day. And that way, if he sees a photo of himself from the past and he wants to look like that, he can reference his books from the time of the picture when the picture was taken. Go back to the books, look at what he was eating and how he exercised during that time, and just use it as a guide to how he wants to shape his body. So that's how some people use it. Different type of self-improvement journal could just be, for some people, just writing down what you're thinking to get all of those ideas that are ricocheting inside your brain out, so they'll leave you alone. But or you can like keep track of something. People use it to keep track of food or other things. So yeah, it could be a self-improvement journal. The third type, so the first type I mentioned was just a log of your daily routines or weekly routines. The second is a self-improvement journal. And the third is an art journal. They tend to use fewer words and more images. You can draw, you can do whatever artists do, because mine tend not to be an art-filled journal. But there's an art therapist in Australia, Jade Harriman, who says that art journaling is therapeutic and helps you to develop a creative mind. Um, the images that I tend to use are pre-made, so I print them and stick them and affix them to my journal inside of my journal, and that's how I introduce more art into it because my art is terrible. But but yeah, an art journal would be good if you want to. A fourth type of journal is commonplace books. Now, they could be considered a journal or not, depending on how you do it. But basically, you're writing something down. These feature inspirational quotes or images that you've come across. Um, it's sort of a common place in which to keep all the things that inspire you. And then fifth journal is called a bullet journal. It really should be called more like a homemade calendar or a bullet point to-do list. It's like a custom tailored task list more than a diary. So this is really using the word journal more. So you use a dot on a piece of paper and then right next to it a task that you want to do, then another dot and another task. And then through the course of the day, you alter the dot to suggest that you have partially completed the task, completed it all the way, or have transferred it to the next day's task list, etc. That little dot or bullet point is just sort of helps you to keep track of what you've done and what you haven't done for the day. And because it's a custom calendar that you put in a book, you can also create a little space for personal thoughts or inspiration and whatnot. So those are the 5 different types of journals you could do. There are plenty more. Um, some people put them all in the same book. Some have separate diaries or journals. Um, and yeah, that hopefully those that can be helpful to you if you want to figure out what you want to do. Oh, another thing you could do with a journal is an heirloom journal, wherein you're putting down thoughts of that you will find useful for your heirs. That could be anything. It could be your biography. It could be inspirational quotes like Jim Rohn said that he does. Um, or just your thoughts for the day that you think might be interesting to your children or grandchildren. More than likely, it will be far more interesting to your grandchildren, great grandchildren, or some intrepid historian. Because I find that the immediate family are not quite as interested in your stuff as you are. But like the more distant you are to the person reading it, that seems to make it a little more interesting. I don't know why. Okay, those are different kinds of journals, and there are many more out there. Um, Hopefully that can help you figure out what you want to write about and what you could think. Hopefully get you started thinking about what you want to do, or maybe you already do journal and so you um, might want to switch it up a bit or add to what you already do.